Very busy morning for you. We want to get back to our breaking news this morning. A deadly series of shootings at a police standoff that just ended in Anaheim. CBS 2's Cara Fincham, you see her there, is live at the scene with the very latest. You're on the 91 freeway near the Brookhurst Street exit. Good morning.
Good morning, DeMarco. It remains completely sealed off. Still some activity out here. We do know that the ambulance has left. Unclear to us at this point whether the suspect was inside or not and what that suspect's condition is. We are awaiting that. Let's get right to some video from overhead. We do have a chopper above, and you can see what the situation is out here. This all started earlier this morning with a chase following a number of shootings, as we've been mentioning all morning long. 3 different crime scenes that officers believe this man may have been linked to. They were pursuing that man suspected in those 3 shootings when everything ended up here on the 91. The chase before it got here actually went across the 57 and the 60, then shut down both sides of the 91 here on the border of Anaheim and Fullerton. We've also got video of the standoff that followed, with police officers really cornering in that suspect, completely surrounding his vehicle. Unclear whether there was any communication that went on between the officers and that suspect as they tried to get him to surrender. We do know that ultimately they did make some type of contact with him, and we have some video of him staring at one of the cameras. He reportedly rolled up and down his windows, continued moving around in that vehicle, and then ultimately we heard a series of bangs and pops before police moved in. Listen to this. We don't know whether that was tear gas being fired, whether any shots were fired either by officers or by the suspect himself. Again, at some point, a number of fire trucks and an ambulance moved in. That ambulance has left, and we're awaiting an update from police. We also have a shot from overhead. Want to give you another look at the scene out here, because there were a lot of vehicles out here this morning, and that was one of the big concerns of police, was just trying to get traffic away from this situation as that standoff unfolded. They did have officers below that overpass. They had a helicopter in the air. It appears nobody else was hurt as this unfolded and ended here along the 91. DeMarco, Suzanne will bring you more information as we get it, but it does appear that the danger has passed, the situation has ended, and we're just waiting for those final details.
All right, Cara, thank you very much. We appreciate that update there.
Yes, and it was a harrowing morning. The deadly crime spree happened at least 3 different locations. And
we're also learning that there are more than one possible victim that may have been killed. But there was also one killed at a Starbucks, and that's where CBS 2's Tina Patel is live at Figueroa and 28th Street. Where you just talked to the victim's family members?
Yeah, and they are still trying to piece together what happened. Very little information coming from investigators. But if I step out of the way, if we zoom in, you can see that there is now a tent over a vehicle that is still in the line of the drive-through at this Starbucks. Family members tell me that their loved one, a man in his 20s who lives in this area, was in there, was shot, and they do not believe that he survived. Take a look at this video. This shooting happened around 1 o'clock this morning, and we believe this was actually the second of 3 shootings in the area. The family members tell us that this man was simply waiting for his order when somebody came up, shot him, and then took off. Shortly after, we believe that that same suspect drove north on Figueroa and ended up on Figueroa and 7th, where he shot again into a vehicle, and it looked like the driver of an SUV there may not have survived either. We saw investigators putting covers over the car. Usually that is not a very good sign, but again, we're still waiting for official word. Now, before these 2 shootings, it appears there was another one on Exposition and Figueroa. It does not appear that anybody died there, but we could see that it looked like windows had been blown out of a vehicle there. So again, as we come back out here live, what investigators are trying to figure out is exactly why these shootings occurred, if there was any thought to it, or if it really was just a random shooting and these people happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Again, as we said, there is a family out here waiting for more answers, devastated, hoping that they can figure out what happened to their loved one. They've been watching that standoff and are at least pleased to know that somebody is in custody. Hopefully, they can get some answers now. We'll send it back to you.
And Tina, there are so many questions. I know you talked to the family there. Did they say that, he could have possibly been an intended victim, or he was just getting Starbucks and may not even know what was going on this morning?
Yeah, that's what I asked, and they said that they have no reason to believe that this person would have any enemies, would have anybody targeting him, and that he lives in the area. He actually, they said, has a sister that works at the Starbucks.
Oh.
They don't believe she was working at the time, but this is an area where he is a lot, either, when he's leaving home or coming home, so it wouldn't be unusual for him to be in this area. But as far as they can tell, this was a completely random shooting, not somebody trying to target him. And so that's why they really are having trouble wrapping their minds around what happened early this morning.